Hey everyone, this time on Tim Talks Audio, how I get ready for a mix session. One of the most important things you can do to help set yourself up for not only speed and efficiency, but success, is to do really great mix prep. That's getting all of the files ready, whether it's files that you've created yourself for your own recordings, or something you've gotten from an artist that you're mixing for them. Preparation and making sure that your organization is key to a fasty and efficient workflow. I'm going to show you some of the things that I do when I get a new song to mix, and I hope you can take just some of the things I do here and implement it into your workflow. So let's dive into the DAW and take a look. Okay, so here we are inside of a totally blank session. The only thing that's in here that you might see in a little bit is my vocal mic right now, but you can see totally blank session. Okay, first, we're going to need some files. However your files are, whether it's in a song that you've created because this is your project you're working on, or it's something from an outside artist. That's what we're going to be working with here today, is files from an outside artist. So let's pull in our multitrack files. We can do it from the browser inside Studio One, which is really handy. Or you can drag and drop from either the Mac Finder windows or the Windows Explorer windows. So I'll show you both. Right now, I'm going to go into Files. This is how I have it set. I have music productions, and then I find the artist I'm working with right now. I know we're working with Cruel Intentions, and we're working on the song White Light. So don't mind some of these other things. It's just some stuff I have going on. So I am going to grab everything. So I'll click on the first one, then I'll hold Shift on the keyboard and go down to the last one and click here. Now that I have all of these selected, all I can do is drag them in and it will start populating my session. But I know that the drums were delivered in a separate subfolder. You can see it here in my browser, but I still want to show you how you can drag and drop from your Windows Explorer or your Mac Finder windows. So very quickly, I'm going to clean up the window. I'm going to hit F5 to get rid of the browser, and I'm going to hit F3 to get rid of the mixer. Then, very quickly and easily, on a Mac, it is Command Tab, and on a Windows machine, it'll be Alt and Tab, and you can switch out to other available things that you have going on. So I'm just going to open up Finder. And luckily enough, I did a little preparation work before, and I navigated to the drums. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I can select all of these, and in a Mac Finder, you can just drag and lasso everything. You could do the same thing in Windows too. Now that I have everything selected, same thing, drag and drop. And there we go. I've pulled in all of my tracks now. Step one, done. All of our files are in. Now Studio One is just building the waveforms. I'm just gonna zoom out real quick. Okay, so we have all of our files in. Now it's a matter of organizing inside of the session. Quickly and easily, I know all of my drums are down on bottom. So what I like to do is pack these all into a folder. When you select your first one, just like we did before, you can hold down Shift and click on the last one, and that will select everything in between. Now I can right click, or if you're on a Mac, maybe you need to use 2 fingers on your trackpad or on your Magic Mouse, however you need to do it. I have just a regular mouse hooked up to my Mac. Right here, I'm going to do Pack Folder. It's going to take all of those files and put them into one folder. And it's just going to give it a generic name down here. But we're going to change that to drums. Also, what I'm going to do as part of my organization is I'm going to put my color code to everything. For my drums, I like this light blue, and that's just what works for me. And when I expand the folder, all of the drums inside have taken on that same color. And then you repeat the process for however many tracks you have into whatever organization you use for your mixes. So I can tell you right now, vocals and vocals 2, these are the lead vocals, and I like these in red. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do the same thing like before. Even though it's one vocalist, it is 2 tracks because they kind of hand off to each other. So I am going to do the same thing of put them into a folder, name it, and you can see it gave a default color. That's fine. I'm just going to change it back to red anyway. I didn't need to color the tracks, but you can see it will still do it after the fact too. Moving on, I know that these woes all go together, so we'll do the same thing. And I'll do woes. For woes and stuff like this, I like kind of an orange sort of color. And we know everything in the folder has those colors. And now we just have to continue on. Strings. These are the only strings, so I don't need to go crazy. And I'm going to go with this kind of pinkish purple. That's what I like to do. And whenever you get a song and you need to know what's going on, just solo it. Navigate to something like right here. And I need to see what this is. This track that I just soloed is actually a print of the drum stem from the artist, and I don't need it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bring the fader all the way down, mute it, and I'm even gonna hide it as well. That's 2 layers of mute safety, and then I'm gonna hide it, because you don't wanna hide a track that has the ability to play. When you hit play and you're like, where is this thing that's going on? It could be that you just didn't put the fader down all the way, you forgot to hit mute, you hit it by accident. So just be aware of that. Okay, up next for me is I have these DI guitar leads right here. Same thing, because I know that this was printed as a stereo file, and that's the one I'm going to use. It has the tones that the artist wanted on this song, and that's what I'm going to use. If I need to do some kind of reamping or put an amp sim on later, that's why I'm just hiding the tracks and not deleting them. I'll always be able to go back and find them if I need them. So we'll get rid of these. It's the same thing for these 2 tracks right here. They are DIs, and I'm just going to do the same exact thing. And so here are my guitars. And then I have some more guitars over here as well. I just need to double check if these are DIs, which they are. So these 2 right here, bring them all the way down, mute them, and then hide them. So now I know that these 3 tracks right here are guitars. Then it looks like I have some more up here. And if anything is showing me anything, these are probably DIs, but I'm going to listen to them anyway. So this is why it's important to go through and prep your mix. These 2 guitars right here are the DIs that were not printed to a stereo file. So I am going to have to use these and reamp them with an amp sim, or actually put a microphone in front of a speaker. I don't have that set up, so I'll probably use an amp sim. But now I know my guitar chorus leads are available to me. So that's all of my guitars. I know I can grab this all the way down to this pink guy right here, and we'll do the same thing like before. Put them into a folder, name it, and then give it the color I like. I like green guitars. Easy enough. Here's my bass, and there's only one, so I'm not going to worry about anything right now, and I like my bass to be blue. And then I have some more harmony vocals. Now, I could put these in with the woes, but these aren't just woes. They're backing vocals. So I'm going to make a new subfolder for these and call it background vocals. And for background vocals, I also like a orange kind of color. So I'm just going to make it slightly different. And now I just arrange everything. So I want my backgrounds near my vocals. I want my woes there. I like my drums on top. And there we go. I'm nice and organized. My window is very small and very clean. If I need to see anything, I can just expand the folders out. And there's a reason that I use folders as well. It's to do this. This is very much a part of my workflow. And you can't see it right now. So I've selected everything by clicking on the drums, holding shift, and clicking on woes, and I'm just going to expand everything. Now, I could also hold down shift and click E to change their vertical height. And that will do it for everything you have selected. So that's another way you could do it. But one thing I can do in here, and why I use folders, is I can very quickly and easily make buses that are automatically named for all of these folders. So now I have a drum bus, I have a guitar bus, a vocal bus, a background vocal bus, and a woes bus in case I need to do any bus processing. And then let's go one step further. What I'm going to do is hit F3 to open up my mixer, which currently is not reflecting my folders, and that's just a setting that I am going to turn on. So I hit the wrench, and I'm going to do link expansion and visibility So now I have a nice clean mixer as well. Same thing like before. And right now I'm just going to start on the last one, hold down Shift, click on drums. And this is something that I use in my workflow. I'm going to right click on any single one of them, and I'm going to add bus for selected channels. And you can see I've made a keyboard shortcut for this, but I wanted to show you where it was. So now all of these channels, or all of these buses, are now routed to this main bus, which I am going to call mix. This is my mix bus. Now, a lot of you out there probably use your mains, this one all the way over here, to do any kind of bus processing. I prefer to do another bus inside of my session because this allows for a little bit more creativity if I need it. With a mix bus, if I decide to, I can actually make a new bus as a send. So if I go ahead and make a new bus and call this parallel comp, I can take my entire mix and send it to a parallel compression bus. So my whole mix has parallel compression. This is something you wouldn't be able to do if you're only doing stuff on your main fader. And now we're pretty much set for when we start mixing. Now, if there's some plugins you use on every mix, like maybe some reverbs or some delays, maybe you use some mix bus compression or anything else going on. If you know you already do these things, go ahead and load them up now, and at the end, save your session. Now, when you go and reload your mix, or continue to mix if this is something you do before you start, then you can go ahead and load them in now and get everything ready. You don't have to dial in parameters, or if you have presets that you love to use, you can just put those on. And then when you're in mix mode, you just go. You listen and you're creative. You find where the problems are and you fix those, and you just keep moving on while you're mixing. Like I said before, this is something I do at the end of my day. Maybe my ears are shot and I'm tired, but I can still actively get stuff ready for the next mix session that I'm going to have. Some of the very last few things that I'll do when I'm just mix prepping is kind of go back into these folders and see what's going on. I know that this is a bunch of different woes, so I'm probably going to want to spread these out. I can do that now. Same thing with my background vocals. I know they're double tracked, so I can just go ahead and do my pannings here. The lead vocals I'm not going to worry about, but the guitars, as you can see, I've already done one, but these few tracks here are stereo stems, so it's already done. I don't need to worry about that. If anything, I can throw a plugin on here to maybe increase the width or decrease the width, however this song needs. I can do the same thing by going into all of my drums and actually arranging this in the way that I like. So I would want all of my kicks first, and then I like having all of my snares after that in a relative order, which is going to be kind of like this. So snare top to snare bottom, and then put those right next to my kicks. I know that there's a kick sample over here. And I can even do this. I can take all of my kicks and bust those together. So now I have a kick bus, which is then still routed to my drums. It's a bus within a bus. So all of my kicks are going here, and I can treat it as one sound source. I'm going to put this to mono because it's a kick drum anyway. Same thing with my snares, and it's the same thing. I can go ahead and sum that to mono, and now my snare bus is feeding my drum bus. Here's a room sound, here's a rack tom next to a floor tom. Left and rights are overheads. Here's a front and center. Here's hi-hats, overheads. So just a little organization beforehand can go a long way. Rack tom, floor tom, a couple of overheads, and I believe the rest of these are different distance of mics because they are programmed drums, and that's what I'm going to be working with on this song. And I'm just kind of like guessing in with a bunch of these. So for my rack toms, I know that those are mono. My overheads are clearly coming in as stereo. Front and center, this is a center room mic, but for these rooms, what I'm actually going to do is start with them pretty low, and I'll dial them in later. I'll figure out what's going on with these condensers and get a balance of the kicks and snares when it's time to get the balance of the kicks and snares. So there you go. I would say this is pretty much done. And now I can move on to another song to prep if I need to, or if this is happening the same day that you are mixing your projects or your artist's projects, you can go right into mixing now. You've done all your organization and your prep work. Now comes the creative mind, where you can actually go in and listen and be creative with the mix for the song you're working on. I'm curious if there's anything that you also do in your mix prep. One of the things that we didn't go over is sometimes I will do some normalization of some of these files if I need to. Maybe something came in pretty low, I can do some normalization to kind of get that level back, as long as it's not really bringing up any additional noise. Most of these guitars were amp sims and DI guitars, so I'm not too worried about that anyway. That's all for now. If you found anything informative, please like and share the video. For more, visit timflansbaum.com, and if you have a question, ask it in the comments and I'll answer it in a future video. Thanks for watching.